Got everything hand tight. I'll torque everything down. We'll move on to the wiring. All right, so everything's torqued up. Should be 34 and a 16th between the end of there to here. 34 and a 16th. Dialed. Next up is the wiring, which is pretty simple on these. It's your power wire, power, ground, then the harness plugs into here. Probably mount the isolation module on the driver's side up by the coolant reservoir. So I'll get started on this wiring. We do these often, so you know, kind of know how to do them now. All right, so I got the power harness for the plow routed, power and ground up to the battery on the passenger side. Coming through, it's going to come out of the front of the grill. Got the lighting harness routed. It's going to go to the isolation module up here on the driver's side, right on top of the fuse box. Comes down, drops down to the driver headlight, comes across, routes above the radiator, tucks back in, and comes to right here. That'll connect to the passenger headlight. And then we will run the harness for the remote, tap into one of the auxiliary wires, like the upfitting wires. And then we have the other harness for the plow. This is a 3-plug setup. Then we'll mount the isolation module and we'll wire up the remote and everything. Pretty quick process, doesn't take too long. All right, so I got everything wired up. The only thing left is to put in the fuse in between the power wire and the battery, hook up the ground for the battery. Got our isolation module right here on top of the fuse box. And then for the power wire for the remote, I ran it to the upfitter wires. I ran and tapped into the white one, which is power with accessory on, and no power with it off, which is exactly what we need. And then we got our cable for our remote, and we'll mount the remote probably like right there in between the vent and the 4-wheel drive switch. Test everything out, make sure it works. When I mount these remote holders, the cleanest way I've learned to do it is to just use rivets. I'll drill it and then I end up riveting it. Comes out the cleanest, and that way you don't have to mess with the screws, because then you have to pull this whole thing out to get the nuts on the back. You can't put self-tappers or anything, and I think this is just a lot cleaner. So I'll put this last rivet in, we'll get the remote on, test everything out. Should be golden. So the bumper has to get trimmed when you do this. Well, the air dam has to get trimmed. So I just mark it off with some blue painter's tape. Trim it up. You know, these are work trucks, doesn't have to be perfect, but I try to do my best. That's that. This one's basically wrapped up. All right, got the plow on it. Everything works. Lights are on. Already checked the turn signals, so everything is good to go. And that's basically it. Pretty straightforward install. Put the plow back down, give the truck back to our employee, and next snowstorm, this thing's ready to plow. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.